So I was not a huge fan of this movie. I felt like a lot of the stuff was just way too obvious. Um, the killer was also kind of obvious. The movie itself was kind of corny at times, a lot of the time, actually, especially when the killer actually reveals himself. Like, he's got a few corny lines in the scene where he has them all at the Thanksgiving table, but once he reveals himself, he goes full corny. And sometimes that can work with killers, like, Chucky has some corny puns, Freddy Krueger has some corny puns, but I don't feel like it really works here. The best part of this movie is the kills. There's like some all timer kills in here, several, and they're also good. My favorite's definitely the very first kill, the dumpster kill. Well, the first kill by the killer, because there is the Black Friday massacre, which was another thing I found weird. I get Thanksgiving and Black Friday are pretty close. They're both in November, and yeah, this movie's called Thanksgiving though, and a big part of the plot is the Black Friday massacre, a different holiday that just feels weird to me. Um, it's not a major issue though, but they could have just made the disaster happen on Thanksgiving, but it happens on Black Friday, and then the actual dinner scene happens a year later on Thanksgiving. The characters are all pretty forgettable. There's some actors that I know, like Patrick Dempsey, obviously. Um, and then the boyfriend character, who doesn't offer that much to the movie, is played by the same actor that's in Zombies, the Disney Channel movie series, which I have never seen, but I know of. Um, they were coming out around the same time as Descendants did, but it never really interested me, unlike Descendants. And then there's also the dad who's in this movie, and he's played by the guy from Suits, which I have not seen that either, but instantly recognized him. Um, Addison Rae's also in here, but she doesn't offer that much. There's a Russian girl who I didn't even know she was Russian until the scene where she starts speaking Russian. Um, there's just a lot of forgettable stuff about these characters. Um, if you love movie for kills, you'll probably love this movie. But I didn't care for the plot, the motive, or practically anything about this movie besides the kills. Like, the characters are just so uninteresting. Um, Patrick Dempsey ends up being the killer, and he starts having some lines about, you know, this year there will be no leftovers, and a line about how when he said, "I'm gonna have her for dinner," I really meant that. And it's because, like, he tried to feed the kids one of the characters he killed, the stepmom. But that scene had already happened. Like, we know what you meant by that by now. Why are you telling us this? It's stupid. They also hint that he's still alive by the end of the movie by, there being like a firefighter leaving the scene with his mask on. And then the movie ends with like a dream sequence, like, I know what you did last summer. It didn't really do it for me. Fucking awesome kills like Wolfman, but was not a good movie.